The Kansas Senate approves one budget that would cut arts funding in the Sunflower State. This comes as lawmakers work to finalize a budget for 2026. I'm John Holt.
I'm Lauren Halifax. In last year's grant period, through the Kansas Arts Commission, over $1 million was awarded to 108 recipients. That's 42 Kansas counties. The commission supports arts like music and theater across the state. Fox 4's Hannah King joins us from Johnson County Arts and Heritage Center in Overland Park. Hannah, what happens if the funds no longer exist?
Well, what I know is just here in Johnson County, there were 11 applications the Kansas Arts Commission funded just last year, totaling almost $145,000. And if that possibility was taken away in the future, I'm told it would be a huge hit. Senator Pat Petty recently said legislators have not given the budget the time and work it needs this year.
But I think we also need to keep Kansans in mind when we're doing that.
One of those areas, the arts.
We are not putting any money into the arts program in 2026.
A change gon' come.
Something Kansas Arts Commission grant beneficiaries have already come to know as a real possibility.
My hopes are that Governor Kelly will see the benefit of keeping the arts alive in Kansas.
Arts in Prison is one of those in Johnson County.
People that are inside of prisons making art, they're trying to tell their story through their art. Well, those don't come out unless somebody like Arts in Prison goes in there and collects them up and puts up an art exhibit.
It's a nonprofit funded by grants and donations. It received recently $20,000 from the Kansas Arts Commission.
It allowed me for the first time ever to pay stipends to some of our volunteers so that we're covering some of their mileage costs.
Lee Lynch says every dollar matters.
Defunding the Arts Commission takes away all of those connections, and we go back to being little individual groups of people trying to find ways to make a difference in our communities.
Another advocate of the arts is Sarah Van Lendite.
Through the Kansas Arts Network, we've been watching kind of the budget process since the beginning of the legislative session this year. So I think it was last week we understood that the Senate Ways and Means Committee had recommended funding, removing $1 million from the Kansas Arts Commission budget.
She's also the executive director of the Arts Council of Johnson County.
I would say it's important for arts lovers, arts supporters, arts advocates to continue talking with your state legislator. Help them understand how much this means to you, how much it means to your family, your loved ones, and the impact that it has in your community.
I also reached out to the Kansas Arts Commission for comment. They told me until both chambers of the Kansas legislature vote on and approve a final budget, it's too early to speculate on what would and would not be in that document. The bill will also be sent to the governor's office for action. It's unclear, though, when that action might be taken. It's also unclear on why the commission is facing this cut. John?